Hi there. Welcome to Keep Up With Conspicuous. We are live with Shannon Mullins, 5 times MVP, and one of the legends of the Business Central space. So and I don't say that lightly. She is very much well known and very well respected. So I thought we must get her on the podcast to talk about all things ABC and Business Central and just talk through everything. So, yes, welcome. And Philippa Comley is also on, who's the head of UK and EU contracts at Conspicuous. So, welcome, Shannon, to the podcast.
Thank you both for having me, and pleasure to be back with Philippa. We just had a lot of fun in Slovenia last
yes, we did.
Maybe too much fun.
Too much.
It was a great time.
Don't say too much, Shannon, because my boss is listening.
My boss is listening too.
There'll be lots of trouble.
On top of being well known, in the BC space and just stuff that I'm doing in Power Automate and BC and things like that, I also like to have a little bit of fun. So
it's good. It's all about balance.
Yeah, I hear that's a good. That Dynamics Minds is it looks amazing. I haven't been, but was it your second year, Shannon, or was it
Philippa's? Yeah, it was my second year. I actually I got involved back the year before it started at Summit NA. The team actually approached me and told me this crazy idea that they wanted to do Summit in Europe and or something like Summit. And I was like, oh wow, that's a huge undertaking. I've been involved with Summit for over a decade and seen that organization just grow and grow and grow. And I was like, gosh, that's a lot of work, guys. When are you thinking about doing it? Oh, we're thinking about doing it this May. I was like, what? And I think the coolest thing is like the doc-centric team and Anya and Mira and Clement and all of them, they're just so enthusiastic. They just so much love the community and like doing things for the community. And just to join that enthusiastic group, that committee has been just stellar. It's been amazing. Seeing that conference grow from year 1 to year 2 like so quickly was even more, insane. And this year we had a party every single night. So you can imagine how much fun was had. I think we were all wiped out by the last day. But just the content and the speakers and Microsoft and just the whole piece was just so well done this year. And I'm excited for next year. They're already pinging me, we're ready for next year. I'm like, all right, let's go. So it's exciting.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's really good. Yeah, you should come next year, Alex.
Is there any karaoke?
Yes.
There is karaoke, actually. Yes. And it's actually, there's some pretty good people in the Dynamics Power Platform community that can do
Alex would be good enough to do that.
I'll listen. I don't think I can.
Yeah, I was a backup singer. I'm hoping that footage
you are, yeah.
A backup singer for a song that was in Spanish, in which I only know the chorus. So that was pretty interesting.
That was great. Everyone loved it.
There are some very good singers actually in the Dynamics community. I remember that from Summit as well. Yeah, very good.
A lot of talented bunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much so. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll have to up my game.
Mm-hmm.
Only play Hot Cross Buns on the recorder. That's about it.
I haven't had any recorder performances, so bring it on.
There you go.
Not sure there's a market for that, to be honest.
No. Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, no, and I'd say congratulations on the MVP. So I thought I'd touch a little bit on it because I've seen all the obviously all the awards gone out today, was it, or definitely this week?
Yes,
I think. So I'd be interested to know what. Because I'm not fully aware of it. I mean, what is the MVP program and how is it rewarded? And I guess maybe to anyone who's listening who would like to become an MVP, how does that process work? And maybe what are the advantages of being an MVP as well?
Yeah, so it's an interesting program. I got asked to do it back when Directions NA was at Las Vegas. Steve Endo, who's been a good colleague and friend in the GP space for quite a long time, he had attended MVP Summit in Redmond, and while he was there, was noticing just the disparity of the amount of women that were in the room versus men.
Of course.
I mean, you're at a major MVP tech conference, you've got people from all over the world. Now, considering this was probably 2018 when he was, at MVP Summit, so things might have changed. I wasn't able to go this year. But it just, it was overwhelmingly men. And he knew a few of us that were in the space, that were women, that were, speaking at Summit and speaking at different conferences and really involved. And so he had approached me and a couple others and said, hey, I really want to nominate you for MVP. And I said, well, I don't know if I'm good enough to be an MVP. What does that even mean? Like, what do I have to do? And, he explained, you've got to be social, you've got to be writing blogs. Back then, I was not anybody on social media. I mean, I wasn't doing anything. I just was doing my conferences and working. And so he was like, you got to have a blog, you got to start doing these things. And I was like, oh gosh, Steve, like I'm a mom, I'm a consultant, like I'm busy, like I don't have time to do that. And he's like, will you consider doing it? And so I did think about it a little bit and then decided, to have him help me. And so he did. So we walked through it. The nerve-wracking piece about becoming an MVP is one, you have to be nominated by an MVP. And things that people don't realize, there's a lot of people that come to me and they're like, these people are, smarter than most MVPs. They should be an MVP. That's not what being an MVP is about. Or they're doing more than you are. They should be an MVP. Okay, well, I think the thing about being an MVP is people will see you in the community. They see what you're doing for the community. And this is what MVP is about. It's not about who's the smartest, who's the brightest. I will tell you, the people that are in our group on the BC side, brilliant minds. I mean, when you get all of us together, you can't shut us up. But just so much talent, it's mind blowing. But every single one of those people would bend over backwards for the community or do something for the community, hands down, and you see what they're doing. And so people will come to me and they're like, how do I become an MVP? Well, the first thing you want to be doing is doing things for the community. And that the thing that people don't understand is your work stuff does not count. This is an unpaid job that you're essentially doing for Microsoft. So,
yeah,
if you go and blog for your company, doesn't count. You go and speak at a conference on behalf of your company to get leads, doesn't count. I mean, this is all stuff that you're doing directly for the community to teach the community. And there was stuff I was already doing, and that's really why it made sense for me. Outside of the social media and blogging, I was doing all these things. And so I'm like, okay, like, that's fine. But what people don't understand is that you don't get renewed every year, just automatically. Every year in March, we have to get a consensus of everything we did over the year. So we have an online application, we have to fill it out. Takes a couple hours at least to fill out. You submit everything, and then you wait until July for Microsoft to make a decision, which it's like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Wow.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So people just automatically assume you're renewed. That is not the case. And so that's why everybody's so excited in July. And it's so funny because you think, all the MVPs are like, oh, we're just going to get it. No, all of us, every single one of us, including myself, they're like, we're on edge. Like, did we get it? Did we not get it? And we're all like, okay, if I didn't get it, I'll be okay. But will I? I don't know. I mean, there's some people that chose not to renew this year. You'll have people that'll say I'm stepping down because it is a lot of extra work, and people have families, people have jobs and careers, and at some point you're like, okay, can I sustain both? And so, eventually I'm sure at some point I'll retire, but we've had people in the program we have Camille in the BC program. He's been around for 20 years, Waldo, 18 years at MVP. So that's pretty cool. And I will say, what is the cool thing about being an MVP? One, working with the community and obviously, just being able to help the community. But two, we get to help shape the product. Whatever product line you're on, you actually get to work directly with those program directors, with the product development team. You get to see new things before they're coming out. You get to give input. So it's really kind of cool to be like, they'll ping me and say, hey, Shannon, what do you think about this? Or if I'm having a problem or I see a customer's having a problem, I can message them and say, hey, can we change this? It may not be possible, but can we? And having that direct relationship with the BC team has been amazing. We have hands down the best program, best development team. I mean, there's no doubt the BC development team is amazing. So personable, and they care about the client base, which, you know, it's really cool.
It's good. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's I didn't know anything really about the program. I definitely assumed what you said, Shannon, that, you know, it gets automatically renewed. I didn't realize you had to do it every year. Yeah.
No, it's like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. They strip away your title. Now we don't hand in our pretty uniforms, but
so good.
So I just watched the whole series. That's why I'm comparing it.
I haven't watched it yet. I saw it the other day. I thought, ooh.
It's actually really, really good. I'm not, you know, I was never in dance or cheerleading, but I mean,
me neither.
It's competitive and
yeah,
kind of similar.
Yeah, hustle.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's amazing. Well, that's and I guess it brings nicely onto one of the things that was also interesting was and I guess you got a bit of insight into this, given that you're an MVP and you've, you know, get a bit of a heads up on, you know, what's happening with the product. And I completely agree with you. I think the BC space is hands down the best, and it's amazing. And it is a genuine account. And we always find as well that there is, you know, people listen to the customers and what's going on with the product, and it's fed back very well. The feedback loop's really good, and I think that's fantastic. And so tell me, because again, you're at the coalface really of all of this. I mean, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, you know, there's so much going on at the moment with AI and Copilot, and I thought, well, Business Central, you know, what would a Business Central look like implementation like in 2 years? And I appreciate you don't have a crystal ball, so I know you can't give me an exact answer, but I was just thinking, what would Shannon think would happen? What would be different about a BC, either the product or an implementation to today? I don't know if you've got any thoughts about what might be different for
how it's going to advance. Yeah, I think, you know, AI really on the Microsoft side at least, right? Because there's so many versions of AI now, and Copilot in general. I've actually been doing a lot of talks on Microsoft 365 Copilot, which I'm a huge proponent of, you know, in the Word and Teams and space like that too. But I think Copilot really, where I see that going with the ERP software on the accounting side, is really just trying to help accountants analyze data quicker, and get data into the system quicker, right? So how can we help data entry, like automation of AP, automation of entering journal entries, automation of bank rec? You know, bank rec was one thing they were focused on this particular round, helping people find things quicker or how to do things quicker. So I think that's going to keep evolving and getting better. You know, that's stuff that we started to see in this version. I'm sure you guys have heard this, but Microsoft is fully vested in the future of Copilot. You know, there's a lot of money that's being spread across the teams, and those teams each have their own initiatives that they're supposed to reach for Copilot. So we're going to see Copilot releases in every single version of BC. So 5 years from now, you know, I tell prospects and customers like Copilot is super, super new. It's like a baby. It's an infant, you know, in BC world. But imagine what can happen in 5 years. And you know, if people have ideas and they're using Business Central and they're like, hey, this would be really cool if Copilot could do this for automation, you know, for my job, this is really cumbersome. Ideas.microsoft.com is a really good place to go, because that's where you can go and submit your ideas for Business Central. You can share them on social media, you can get likes. BC team does look at all those recommendations on ideas and the ones getting the most votes on what they're going to introduce to the product. So they are wanting customer feedback. I know Soren, who's part of the implementation team. He does a lot of things, you know, for Microsoft, but he's really working on making implementations easier. He was reaching out on LinkedIn like a week ago, asking customers, hey, do you want to give me some feedback on what you're struggling with? Because they're really looking at that, like, what is the struggle on the data entry point? And this is for any ERP system. You're going to have a lot of data entry. You're going to have a lot of struggle on reporting, things like that. So how can they make that better? So that's where I see it going.
That's really. I didn't even know that ideas page existed on Microsoft page. So there we go. if we have any ideas, we'll have to add them on as well. I can't.
Yeah, there's a lot out there actually. If you have free time, you can go vote for everything you like. But yeah, I think the easiest way to get votes is to keep sharing on social media so people see it, because it will get buried in like thousands of ideas.
Definitely.
But yeah, the ideas page came about with the cloud version, and that's been really nice, because we'll have customers like, hey, why can't BC do this? Or we wish it could do that. We're like, hey, throw it out in ideas, maybe enough people will vote for it. Microsoft will add it. So.
Yeah, well, there you go. As much as I love manual data entry, that all sounds very good. So, oh, brilliant. Okay, great. Oh, we have a comment from Andrew Wingate.
My friend Andrew Wingate, who's an amazing co-conspirator. I'm hoping to get over to the UK to present with him or present with
Yeah, you should. He's great. He's lovely.
Yeah, very, very lovely.
Yeah. Bless
Are
him.
you over in the UK soon, Shannon?
I think I will be over there sometime probably in November. I usually come through when I go to directions of Mia, at least for a day or two into London, because that's my easiest connection. So hopefully I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, do. That'd be great.
Yeah.
What other conferences are you attending this year, Shannon? What's your plan, your conference plan?
Oh gosh, I call it 2 conference seasons. So we have spring conference season, we have fall conference season. Right now I'm in the off season, which feels really good. I just moved homes as a single mom, and I'm white, honestly.
Yeah.
So glad to be home this month. But conference season will start back up in September. I actually just found out I got accepted to Days of Knowledge America, which is the first conference for Days of Knowledge in the US. So that's exciting. That's going to be higher level partner training for Business Central and Power Platform. So that'll be huge. I think 18 MVPs, they said, and then Microsoft. So it'll be a smaller conference, but it should be awesome for training. And then I've got Power Platform Conference, which was spectacular last year. I'm not speaking at that one. It'd be awesome if I ever made it, but I don't get chosen for that one. That's okay. I love just going and attending and seeing all my MVP friends in other product areas. So that one's really fun. And then we've got Summit NA. We'll be sponsoring that one this year. So excited for that one in San Antonio in October. And then we've got Directions EMEA in Vienna, which kind of rounds out the whole conference track.
It's busy.
It'll be a busy fall. Fall. Yeah. It's exciting. I think, you guys recommended. Oh, and I forgot about Dynamics Con Virtual. Dynamics Con Virtual is actually happening in November this year. And that one's great because you don't have to leave your house or your office. You can watch all the sessions online. I know I have 3 sessions that have been selected, and I just submitted a 4th one with a co-presenter yesterday. So that one's really exciting because you can just watch and you don't have to ask your boss. So that one's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I think
perfect.
One over the other. I mean, as far as fall conferences go, Summit, if you're an end user, that's probably where you want to be. I mean, that one's a little overwhelming, but they're expecting 7,000 people in San Antonio. So that one's going to be huge, humongous. But always a good time at Summit. Very, very busy conference. I've got 3 sessions there, so that'll be good. And then Dynamics Con Live, if you're in the US, in the spring. And if you're not in the US, then Dynamics Minds, which is quickly becoming kind of the user group conference for Europe. I know there's a lot of awesome other European conferences. I just got asked to be part of Color Cloud next year, so that's exciting. So I'm excited to hopefully join forces on that one on the BC track. We've got some really exciting things coming up.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's good to meet people face to face and go and sort of do that whole networking piece. And and I think if you're doing a lot of them as well, everyone becomes really good friends, don't they? And that's great.
It's kind of like a family reunion when you come to some of these things. It's like you see your friends, you see your family, and I always tell my team, I'm like, I'm gonna be super busy, and Kyle, who joined my team, he's been with me at a couple of conferences now, and he's like, every time we're walking down the hall, it's gonna be a long walk. It's gonna be a long walk because I know so many people, and it's so fun to just see everybody and hug them, and you get to see them again, and you don't see them all year, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
it's
it
always
makes
nice to
sense.
see everyone in person, isn't it? On the after a few drinks as
Especially
well.
after, the whole COVID thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all so happy to be together for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing. That's great.
Good.
And so, because I saw very recently, I think I don't know if it was this month or last month, you started a new company. Is that right? Or you founded?
Yeah, I kind of started a new company last February. Well, I just started a brand new company. So yeah, I'll just give you a little bit about what I'm focused on right now. So
Yeah.
ABC Consulting Group, obviously I started last February to do BC. So we're all BC. We do some Dynamics 365 sales, we do some Power Platform, but our main focus is Business Central. And really the last 6 months have really been a focus on helping rescue customers, I'll call them, people who have really been struggling with BC implementations. Partner wasn't helping, implementation went wrong, or they just don't feel like they're using BC correctly. So we've been helping a ton of customers with that. It's been exciting on top of new implementations and development. So exciting over there. I have a great team. We're actually 90% women, which is really cool. Yeah, it's awesome. And not that I hate men. Men can work for us anytime, but it's really kind of good to have girls on our team. It was something I really, with women in tech and women in dynamics, was really kind of my focus of this company.
Love
to make
that.
sure we were well balanced. And then we actually, for 2 years, Stefan Marone, who's been developing with me for years. I mean, we've been good friends, and he's amazing. He and I had actually talked about doing some apps together, and we've had all these ideas, and it's finally coming to play. So we actually have the BC App Maker, which is our new company that we're spinning up. So we're developing apps to sit on top of BC, which is really exciting. And those apps will live and breathe inside of BC. And really the goal of all of those apps are to fill gaps that we don't feel like Microsoft's going to fill anytime soon. And so yeah, it's pretty exciting working on those.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we're hoping to be published by next month. We got the website up and running, but now we're going to the whole Microsoft publishing piece. And yeah, so knock on wood, we'll have some fun apps coming out.
Wow, you are busy, aren't you? You're always doing something.
Wasn't kidding. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
when in Rome, just have more fun, right? So no, it's exciting because there's some times where I'm like, I wish BC could do this, and rather than just wait for Microsoft to do it or someone else to do it, like
Gonna make it happen.
And see what happens. Yeah, so it's exciting.
Oh, amazing! Oh, great. And I was going to ask. So, I mean, I don't know, because I was speaking to someone the other day, and they said that a lot of their customers are still on-prem, and we work. Obviously on the US side as well, a lot of GP customers still around. I mean, are you finding that companies are embracing the upgrade to Biz Central? Sorry to a partner, they said a lot of the companies are still not massively embracing. And what are you finding out there?
So we're doing a lot of GP to BC migrations, and we've got a big nav to BC migration we should be working on here shortly. I think that a lot of them are starting to realize they need to start making a plan, right? Especially after Summit last year and Microsoft being very direct about, hey, we really need you to start considering the cloud and working towards this, right? Don't wait until it's end of life. So really that's, I think, especially GP new sales stopping next year, that's going to be huge. No new GP instances installed. So you've got to go to the cloud. I think that customers are still nervous, right? And they should be, because, you said upgrade, but it's not an upgrade. It's an implementation. This is a totally different system. It works very similar. There's a lot of similarities. There's a ton of differences. And so customers are a little nervous. So really, I think finding a partner who knows GP, who knows BC, and I think that's something we've really done well, because GP was my background, is coming in and saying, hey, we're going to hold your hand through this. We're going to do a discovery first. We're going to make sure we have all the gaps filled for GP to BC. All your ISVs will be replaced. All your customizations, we'll make sure we're filling those gaps. And then making sure we clean your data. We walk you through the training. We walk you through the implementation. So, it's a big endeavor, but what we're seeing on the other side is very, very happy GP customers in BC, where they're like, okay, this isn't so bad. And with any ERP implementation, you guys know this, you work in ERP with consultants, it's a painful process, right? It's just not
Yeah.
fun. But when you get into it and you're on the other side of go live and you've been doing it for a couple months, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. Like, I know how to do this. And we had a customer who was on the call with us last week, and he was on the struggle bus the first couple months, and just learning a new system. It's very, very difficult for him. And now he's like, see, it's so easy peasy. Like, I love it. It's not bad at all. And he's just so excited. And I'm like, it's hard not to be excited for him, because, you're like, okay, you get it. And I tell people that. I'm like, this is not going to be fun. There's a reason people don't replace their ERP system every week. But anyway, it's going really, really well. It's just getting through that piece. So, but exciting time for GP customers and have customers to take advantage of this, because there's the bridge to cloud, right? Which is the promotion where you get 40% off for 3 years on your licensing, which is huge. And then also partners like myself are offering like fixed implementation, where we're helping you, control the cost and try to get you over in a successful way. So,
that is good.
Really good.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm learning a lot in this podcast, Shannon. Bridge to cloud as well.
Yeah.
Always teaching us, Shannon.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Well, well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think, why do we end it there? I think that's an amazing load of information and lots to digest. And thank you very much for speaking us on, Oscar Awards Day. I didn't realize it was so as big as it was. So thank you very much. I'm glad that you found the time to come on with us on such a big day.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to yourself and
thank you.
And everyone, who's becoming or has it
congratulations to all the brilliant minds out there. It's a lot of cool people in this space.
Yeah. Oh well, congratulations and thank you very much. And we will we'll speak soon and see you at one of these conferences, I'm sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care.
Take care. Bye.